The best of Money Matters. The Big Story.
Welcome to The Big Story. I'm Hongbin Jeong. The Trump administration's ban on Harvard's enrollment of international students has sparked a major upheaval in the academic community, casting uncertainty over the university's ability to maintain its diverse and global student body. Now, this ban threatens not only Harvard's future as a leading institution, but also the academic paths of thousands of affected students. A federal judge has since temporarily halted the Trump administration's ban on Harvard University's ability to enroll international students. But how long will that last? What will Harvard look like if it loses access to global talent? What does this mean for the future of international education in the United States? And most importantly, what does this mean for Singaporean students at Harvard and their academic futures? Well, joining us today to share more is Cedomir Nestorovic, who is a professor of Geopolitics at ESSEC Business School of Asia Pacific, to find out more. Hi, Professor. Thank you so much for joining me.
Hello, Hongbin. Hello. Thank you for asking me.
Thank you so much for joining us. Professor, why is the Trump administration moving to revoke Harvard's ability to enroll foreign students?
I think that Trump is looking for all the different means how to negotiate with Harvard and put Harvard and the other universities to do something that they don't want to do. So he started by revoking the subsidies. Now he's talking about international students. Maybe next time he will cut off electricity. Who knows? Huh?
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, are there other elite universities in the U.S. at risk as well, or is this just Harvard and the administration?
I think that the other universities are also at risk because the reason that he is using in order to harm Harvard are the same as for the other universities. So I don't see how the other universities will not feel the heat from that.
Well, on that note, why are institutes of higher education, particularly the Ivy League schools, becoming frequent targets for political attacks in recent years?
I think that there are two reasons for that. The first one is obviously everything associated with DEI that Trump doesn't like. So he believes that the culture wars that we have in the United States are coming from the elite universities. So this is one thing. And the second thing is that maybe he believes that there are too many international students in elite colleges in the U.S. And if we have too many of them, it means we have fewer places for American students. So this is also another reason why he's talking about that.
Most international students, they are overseas or back home since the semester has ended. Is the uncertainty around re-entering the U.S. now a huge concern?
Definitely. There is, I believe, a panic among them. Panic among the people who are currently studying and also among the people who would like to go to the United States, not only for the students, but also for the parents and for the whole ecosystem, which is behind this. So I think it's a big blow, big uncertainty for many of these people. So I believe that they are trying to look for the plan B, for the alternatives in Canada, in the UK, and other places.
Well, since the move, a federal judge has temporarily halted the Trump administration's ban on Harvard University's ability to enroll international students. I mean, that's after Harvard filed a lawsuit against the Trump administration, arguing that the actions violated constitutional rights and academic freedom. How long will this halt be before we see the final verdict?
So I believe that the federal judge is absolutely right. But on the other side, I don't think that Trump will give up. So he will engage in legal battles if necessary, or he will try to find another way how to harm the elite universities. So I don't think that he will stop because one judge has said that temporarily his order will not be executed.
I mean, as you said, if he doesn't give up, is it likely that Trump's ban on Harvard enrolling international students will ultimately be upheld or enforced?
So I think there is a great danger for that. Today, I think that the international students must make more than 25% of total enrollment concerning Harvard. There are universities where practically 50% of the enrollment is made by international students. The international students, they pay the full tuition fees, which very often is not the case for the American students. So there is a huge problem on stake here, and I don't think that the universities can give up also very easily because they also depend on them.
As you mentioned, Harvard relies on nearly 7,000 international students from more than 140 countries to come to its campuses. Now, this is more than the 25% of its total enrollment, according to the 2024 to 2025 data from Harvard. In fact, in the lawsuit filed by Harvard, it said without its international students, Harvard is not Harvard. So, Professor, what is Harvard without international students? What are the implications for Harvard if this ban is upheld?
If Harvard doesn't accept international students, it is definitely not Harvard anymore. But on the other side, I believe it is also very temporary. I believe that Trump would like to put pressure on Harvard to abide to what he wants to achieve. So once he gets what he wants to achieve, he will reverse the decision. And there are so many examples when President Trump's decisions have been overturned that this one can be overturned very easily. I cannot imagine that the American universities won't accept international students for the next 5 or 10 years. This is unbelievable.
Then how might the ban affect the global reputation and branding of American universities?
It can affect if it lasts. But if the universities accept the demand by Donald Trump, his main demand is to give the identification of students, especially students who do not, according to him, abide by the law. In that case, he will lift all the ban. So I do believe that quite now in many universities in the United States, they are trying to wait if it is worth obeying to what President Trump wants, or they continue to engage in war with him.
I mean, as you mentioned, President Donald Trump has since demanded the names of foreign students at Harvard after a federal judge blocked his administration's move to cut off the university's enrollment of foreign students. How serious is the threat posed by President Trump's demand for the names of foreign students at Harvard? And what potential uses or risks could arise from the government obtaining this information?
So we can argue that it can be, again, let's say, academic freedom, and that the university wants to protect its students. But protecting against whom? If the president is asking this, let's imagine that the state is asking for this. I don't know many other states in the world where the universities would refuse to give the names of the students. So it would be a common practice that when you invite some students, when you invite some foreigners to your country, you would like to know who they are and where they are. So I don't think that the universities will resist very much to this demand.
Okay. Well, for years, China has sent more international students to America than any other country. In fact, those hailing from China make up the largest international group at Harvard. Now, American universities have for years been viewed as a path to a prestigious education and a leg up in China's fiercely competitive career ladder. So, Professor, could the ban be interpreted as part of a reflection of the escalating rivalry between Washington and Beijing?
Yes, you're absolutely right. The Chinese students were representing the largest part of international students going to the United States. They also contributed very much to enriching the United States with the brilliant students who were coming there. They also contributed to the American economy because many of them have stayed in the United States. So there are many benefits to this. However, the situation between the U.S. and China is, let's say, complicated. And it is complicated in several ways. And this could be just one of the ways. So if, for instance, in China, the students believe that there is no future in the United States, well, for whatever the reason is, not only for this one, but maybe they will be considered as non-welcome people in the United States. Maybe they will not have the same opportunities as 10 years ago. They will maybe abandon the American dream and they will look for some other places.
I mean, Harvard is America's oldest and wealthiest university, and it became the first elite college to push back against Trump's demands. And that triggered a series of, escalatory actions in April, including the termination of grants and federal funding to the university. Harvard sued to end the grant freeze. So do you see this tension between Harvard and the Trump administration continuing?
if there is one university which can oppose to President Trump, it is Harvard. No other university can do this because they have an endowment fund. They have their own money. And this money is more than $50 billion. $50 billion. So if the American administration doesn't want to give money to Harvard, they have money. They can resist.
Right.
But do they want to resist? It's another story. Because, for instance, if you're looking at the Harvard Law School, you have brilliant people coming from the Harvard Law School. But if other law companies don't want to hire students coming from the Harvard Law School, there is a big problem for the university in that case.
I mean, the Trump administration is already facing strong legal challenges by Harvard here. What might the cumulative impact of these legal challenges mean for the administration's broader political or legal strategy?
Harvard has a brand. If we compare the brand name of Harvard and the brand name of the President Trump, I'm sure that the brand name of Harvard is higher than the brand name of President Trump. So they can engage. They can engage in a long term. And they can say, okay, next year we will have elections in the United States and maybe the president will lose the control of the Congress. So in that case, we can have the reversal situation. I do believe that Harvard has the means to resist, at least for a few years. The problem is, do they want to do so? For the moment, I don't see what is the real intention coming from Harvard. They have opposed this question about the international students, but it remains to see if it is going to be a full-blown war or if it is going only to be on some aspects of the war.
Now, Professor, there are about more than 150 Singaporeans enrolled at Harvard University. What will this mean for them if the ban goes through?
They are currently in a limbo, like for any other international students. However, for the people who are already there in the United States, maybe the situation is different. And for the people who want to come to the United States, in that case also, the situation is different. So they're in the limbo. They will face the same fate as for the other international students, except if Singapore doesn't do something for them.
So what are the likely short and long-term consequences for Singaporean students' academic progress or post-graduation work opportunities in the U.S.?
Again, for the Ivy League, they enjoy a very good reputation. So it is difficult for them to find an alternative solution anywhere in the world. So I do believe that maybe the right answer for that is wait and see. Let's see how it evolves. And President Trump has shown many times that he can reverse his decision. So don't push. Let's see what is happening.
But if the ban does go through, could the Singapore government step in to respond to help students caught in the middle of this possible policy change?
Yes, it can do it. If we have 150 students of Singaporean origin who are in the United States, Singapore can say we know all of them. If Harvard doesn't want to give the names, we will give the names. If Harvard doesn't want to guarantee for the students, we will guarantee for the students. So there is a way for the government also to step in.
Meanwhile, the Hong Kong Education Bureau has urged local universities to facilitate the transition for students impacted by the ban, with Hong Kong University of Science and Technology offering unconditional admission to international students at Harvard. Do you think or do you see our local universities doing the same?
They can do the same. But now we have also to look at the capacity that we have at the university, because universities, they cannot exceed the capacity, or we can exceed the capacity if we move online. So in that case, you don't need seats in the amphitheaters, etc. Online, you can have many people to attend this. But many universities have abandoned online studies. They are only having face-to-face studies. So we have to see if we have the capacity to do so. If we don't have the capacity, in that case, we cannot do it.
Well, thank you so much, Professor, for your time and your insights today.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That was Cedomir Nestorovic, who's a professor of geopolitics at the ESSEC Business School of Asia Pacific. This has been The Big Story with me, Hongbin Jeong.
To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.